If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
You may be the most famous person in the room. And that's a guess. I don't know that. You may be the most famous person in the room, but I am the most famous alum from Perry Hall High School. So take that, Flacco! Go Gators! Nobody? Really? Nobody? I heard some crickets. That hurt, man. That hurt. All right. I'm giving up.
He's dropping the mic.
I haven't really had a chance to. We finished the first segment. You started talking to me about college hoops. It's so weird. We don't really know a lot about you because you're so, I don't know. You're so that kind of guy. What are you doing? Obvious, other than football and getting ready to be a father, like what's getting your attention during the off season?
Not much. Not college basketball, really. I've watched a couple of the games, probably halves at a time, but this is probably the least I've watched the tournament, since I can remember. So, not that. So that's why I was trying to ask you if you've watched it at all, because I really haven't.
Do you know who's playing tonight?
Kentucky, Kansas.
Okay, all right. At least you know that.
Yeah, I know a little bit. Come on now. It'll be exciting. I know, the baseball season's going to start up pretty soon now, and it'll be exciting. I like following baseball a little bit. Enjoy watching the games, even though a lot of people think they're really boring. I enjoy watching the games. Hopefully the Orioles will be getting better, and hopefully we can have a team that gets a couple wins. And I'm back from where everybody's Phillies fans, so
right.
It hasn't been tough to like those guys the last couple of years, but I know they're dealing with some injuries and stuff that they're gonna have to fight. So
you play golf at all? These are things I
play golf, but it's not. It's been pretty nice actually for this time of the year. So I've been able to go out a couple times, but I won't really go out until it starts to get a little bit more nice. I like playing here and there, I play decent, but if I play, more than a couple times a week, I kind of get sick of it just because, it takes so long, and you have to go out with a group of people that you really enjoy being around, so that you can have a lot of fun, in between taking the shots every 5 minutes. So
best golfer on the team is?
Wow. You know what? I don't really know right now. I would say it was probably Matt Catula when he was here, or Kyle Bowler when he was here. But now that those guys aren't here, I have no idea.
Good answer, Joe Flacco.
That's a good diplomatic answer, right?
I really don't know. I promise you. I wish I could say me, but I really don't think it is.
Now, Joe, talking to a lot of you guys, when the season is over, obviously tough loss to end the season, but you want to get away from football. Now, my question, we just talked to you about basketball, talking a little bit about baseball, but how much do you follow the offseason? We're 3 weeks into free agency now. We're less than a month out from the draft. Do you really keep tabs, not just on what the Ravens are doing, but what other teams are doing, or is it just one of those situations where you show up in April for mini camp and then you get to work in July?
Yeah, you show up for mini camp and you get to work in July. Pretty much. It's tough not to really follow it to some extent, because even if I don't see it, there's somebody out there that's telling me about it. One of my buddies, my parents, just my family, anybody. So I'm definitely going to hear about it at some point. So it's not very tough to follow, because eventually I'm going to get it, but it's not usually firsthand. I will pay attention a little bit to, receivers and stuff like that we might think about getting, just because, I want to have a little bit of input on maybe who I like out there in the draft and things like that, and give it to our coaches and give it to our scouts, just to let them know, what kind of guy I'm looking for, and, hopefully they take what I like into account, and when they're in there on draft day, they try to make a move to get somebody that I had a good feeling about from watching a little bit of their games on film. So I do like that a little bit. When I do get a little bit involved, or try to be a little bit involved when it comes to us picking skilled positions.
Now, will they come to you with names at all and try to run some ideas?
Yeah,
or will you watch it and say,
they'll come to me with some guys, and say, hey, take a look at this group of guys, and tell us what you think about those guys.
Can you divulge anything about this year's group of guys?
No, there's a handful of guys that look like they're pretty big, pretty physical guys that can run and jump and catch the ball pretty well, which is pretty important to be able to, have some big mitts and go up there and catch the ball well. So
You take all of those things, is what you're saying. Give me a guy with all of those abilities.
no, it's there's a couple good guys out there. There always is, and whether we'll have a chance to get those guys or not, we'll see. But there's always guys that are out there that are hidden that you don't really get a chance to see as much of either. And any given year you can hit on a guy like that.
You have a new position coach this year.
Yeah.
What do you know about Jim Caldwell?
Me and Jim, I actually drove down here last week and got a chance to meet Jim. And he seems like a really great guy. Just a guy that's going to be in our corner, and I was excited about being here and excited about being the quarterback coach of the Baltimore Ravens. And brought my wife up and got to meet him. He got to meet her also, and just couldn't be a nicer guy out there. And just excited to kind of get with him and really start working on it and see what he has for me.
How important is that role? I mean, is it last year?
It's an important role. I mean, I think so. It's good to have a guy that you can sit in there and just bounce things off of, and that you can really trust. And I hope Jim's going to be one of those guys. He seems like he's ready to do that right away and become one of those guys that I can have a great relationship with. And I think he's going to be a guy that's easy to have one of those kind of relationships with. So it always helps me, and I think that's really important when it comes to playing a 16-week season. You have to have somebody that you enjoy being there with and enjoy being around. And we'll see. I hope he can be that. From what I know of him so far, he seems like a great guy and an easy guy to work with. So.
You have an interesting scenario because it's not just you looking for a contract this offseason, but your running back, Ray Rice, is going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you campaign for him? Do you...
You always want to see what's best for your teammates. So you want to see Ray get a good deal, and you want to see him, at the same time, you don't want to see him settle for anything that he doesn't think he deserves. And because he's going through. And being a running back in this league is a tough position just because your lifespan is so short, and you're not one of the higher paid positions in the league. So you got to try to get as much as you can while you can get it. And I'm always in our guy's corner, and I'm definitely in his corner.
Now, Joe, obviously, you talked a little bit about the negotiation, the contract in the earlier segment, but we hear lots of players, especially, you have a year left on your deal. You're not a free agent, so when you look at the situation with the negotiation, if you get to a certain point, let's say training camp starting, do you foresee having negotiations during the season, or are you the type of guy where you don't want that distraction and you just say, all right, we didn't work it out, we'll table it until after the season?
It's not really a distraction for me just because I won't be thinking about it at that point. And to be honest with you, I hope, I want to get something done before the year, and I hope that, we both want to get something done before the beginning of the year, because when the year comes and goes and I haven't been re-signed, then that's when things can start to get a little bit complicated. And as a quarterback and as a player for this city, as a player on our team, which I love, you don't want to get to the point where you play out your contract and you get to those complicated situations where they can put the franchise tag on you and things like that. So I don't really want it to get to that point just because of that. If we do, it's not going to be a distraction. It's just going to be what it is.
Now, would you be open, though, to keeping those negotiations going? Like, Haloti Ngata signed 2 weeks into the season.
But it was different with Haloti just because he was franchised already. So, I'll have to see about how I think about those kind of things. I'll talk to my agent, I'm sure, if we don't have something done by then. And I'm sure we'll have a good feel for where they are and where we are and, where we want to be. And, it'll just depend on how close we are and, how much, we want to get it done. And I'm sure, if it gets that deep into it, then, it could happen in September,
Joe, you know what we do for a living. It'd be really neat if before we left here tonight, you could pull a Rex Ryan and guarantee a trip to the Super Bowl. I mean, that would just be really good for us if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Hey, I don't have any problem doing that. We just got to go out there and back it up, and we got to have all your guys support us like we always do.
So wait. So will Joe Flacco guarantee a trip?
I said, listen, I don't have a problem doing that. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it right here, right now, just so you guys can have something to talk about.
Would have been really neat.
I don't have a problem doing it on my own terms if I really wanted to do that, but it's kind of on your terms right now, and you're just trying to get something out of me. So.
Of all the things that I've done for you, you couldn't do that one thing for me?
No.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Give it. to say thank you to D&L Window Tinting.